Did you know that Fiji has a pair of $7 bills, an Indian population over 30%, and an airline ranked in the Skytrax top 15 in the world? We've spent the last year living here in Fiji and have boiled down our experience into an information-packed list of the top things you need to do when coming here to visit. If at any point throughout this video you feel like you've learned something new, please be awesome and let us know by hitting that thumbs up button so our small but mighty channel can continue to grow. So without further ado, let's get into it. Kicking this list off, there is no better place to start than under the sea, and that's with snorkeling and scuba diving. Fiji is home to some of the most beautiful and vibrant coral reefs in the entire world and ranks number 6 globally in terms of total coral coverage. Water temperatures are comfortable year-round, hitting their lows at 24 degrees in the winter months of July and hitting their highs around 31 degrees around February and March. Regardless of where you decide to visit Fiji, there is always a coral reef nearby that's going to allow you to get in the water and see some very cool wildlife. Regardless of your level of experience or comfortability in the water, there's scuba diving and snorkeling trips that are going to cater to everybody's tastes and needs. You wouldn't come to France and not eat a nice French baguette, nor should you go to Fiji and not go enjoy the beautiful animals and colors that you'll find under the sea. I can only say so much to convey the beauty of the ocean, but these images speak for themselves that when I say you go to Fiji, you go in the water, no ifs, ands, or buts. Now there is one super special experience for all scuba divers that we have on this list, so you're gonna have to stick around to the end if you wanna see what we feel is the best experience in the water when you come visit these magical islands. One of the most notorious beaches on Viti Levu, which is the big island of Fiji, are the Sigatoka sand dunes. Now, I don't need to tell you to go visit a beach when visiting Fiji. I think that's a given. But going to visit the sand dunes at Sigatoka is something that most tourists just don't do, and that's why we felt it was really important to be on this list so you can see why these sand dunes are a must-visit destination. The Pacific Islands are not places that you usually see these types of dunes, and this is the only place in the country you're going to find epic rolling hills of sands that trickle down to the Pacific Ocean. Sigatoka sits only about 2 hours south of Nadi, so if you're visiting some of the resorts down to the south like the Intercontinental or going down to Outrigger or maybe Momi, this is really simple to get to. They can easily organize a day trip, or if you have a rental car, because as you can see here, this is all shot at about 9 in the morning. You want to get here before the heat of the day really picks up because it is almost insufferable after 10 a.m. So nice and early. You can see there's nobody here. This was filmed in January. An absolute beautiful, peaceful place to take in some of the best views of Fiji's big island. Now, all around this island, you're going to see there is plenty of greenery, and that means that things grow very well here, especially things that you can put into your mouth. So that's why at number 3 on this list, we've got the produce markets that you can find scattered all around in the local villages. The one filmed in this video is the one in Suva, which is the largest in the country and is the heartbeat of the capital of Fiji. Now, I say number 3, but you can't really put an order to any of these things, except for the one we saved for last because, come on guys, it's a YouTube channel. We gotta keep the retention somehow. One of the nicest things about Fiji is that everybody speaks English, so you're gonna be able to exchange information, have a few jokes, and be able to purchase some of the freshest fruits and vegetables that you're going to find anywhere in the Pacific Islands. Now, the most notorious product in these markets is what this guy is selling, and that is what's coming in next on our list, which is drinking kava. Every market has somebody selling homegrown tobacco and kava roots. Think of this as the party section of the market.
Pula, manaka.
Now this one, drinking kava, is 100% mandatory for anybody going to Fiji because drinking kava is about much more than getting tipsy, it's also about community. Kava is a drink with a semi-narcotic effect that is made from grounding down kava roots, soaking them in water, squeezing out all that juice, and then drinking bowls in a ceremony style that the locals will explain the rules to you. There's no need to worry about getting too messed up from the drink because you do need to drink about a liter of it to get really buzzed. Now, there's a big reason that movies like Castaway and Blue Lagoon were filmed in Fiji, and that's because its outer islands are absolutely Fiji is home to over 330 islands, and most of them are going to be found well away from the main island of Viti Levu. Most of this was shot out in the Yasawa Islands, and this is where we lived for an entire year. So when you're finished with this video, you can check that out as we've done a whole feature just on the Yasawa Islands. The biggest draw for these outer islands is that the hustle and bustle of modern human society isn't found out here. You're going to get experience these lost in paradise islands the way that the Pacific was meant to be enjoyed. You're going to be barefoot the entire time you're out here, you're never going to see a car, and if you're not able to relax out here, then maybe paradise just isn't for you. The nice thing about Fiji is that visiting these outer islands is not as expensive as other Pacific countries like French Polynesia, Tonga, and New Caledonia. And if you think it looks beautiful in these shots, I can guarantee you that they don't even do an ounce of justice to how beautiful these islands are to see with your own eyes. What if I told you that Christianity was not the #1 religion in Fiji? Because it's rugby. Now don't get me wrong, a Fijian church service is well worth going to see, but a rugby match in Fiji is unlike seeing a rugby match anywhere else in the world. These guys love rugby so much that instead of putting the Queen of England on their money, they put Olympic champion rugby teams. From the international level all the way down to the tournaments in the local villages, rugby is a sport that brings communities together all across Fiji. Tickets are inexpensive, smiles and laughs all around, and it's a great way to immerse yourself in an activity surrounded by plenty of local Fijians. Now, a trip to Fiji wouldn't be complete if you didn't go check out the jungle, and the best place to visit is the Cola-I-Suva park that sits just 20 minutes north of the national capital of Suva. This location is perfect because it's 2 activities in one. You get a very mild hike through the jungle, which brings you all the way down to the waterfalls and swimming holes where you can relax, have a picnic, and just take in everything the jungle has to offer. The hiking portion of this activity is pretty easy. As you can see in these shots, the path is well maintained. If it is raining, it is not going to be as easy to get in and out to these water holes, but it is well worth the effort to be able to soak in views like these. All in all, you're only looking at about 3 kilometers of hiking with just barely 200 meters of elevation change. The environments of Fiji truly are stunning, but it's the local people that are going to make your holiday complete. And there's nothing better than seeing them perform a traditional Meke ceremony. As much as rugby is a large part of Fijian culture, so too is song and dance. Everybody knows the lyrics, everybody knows the moves, and they love getting together to show off their rich cultural heritage. Unlike some destinations around the world where song and dance like this are just put on as show for tourists, the Meke is something that the locals still use to this day to celebrate their special occasions in the villages and cities around Fiji. My colleagues wanted me to do blackface with them, but I didn't want to expose myself to all the internet Karens. Let me know in the comments below if I should have had Trudeau balls and done blackface with them. In the north of the Yasawa Islands sits the Sawa-I-Lau Cave system. It's the only island that is composed of limestone rock in the archipelago, and this is where you're going to find the most famous caves in the entire country. And what makes these caves so special is that it's not a hiking trip, it's a snorkeling trip to truly take in the beauty that these caves have to offer. Your local guide is going to make sure you get in and out of this cave with ease, and he's going to show you into the back little secret compartments of this cave that make it so special. We've done thousands of dives and countless hours of snorkeling all around the world, and this is truly unlike anything we've seen anywhere else on the planet. It's a super solid half-day trip. Just remember that the cave is closed on Sundays, so you're gonna want to plan your holiday around that. And last but not least is the world-famous shark dive at the Beqa Lagoon. To say that the diving here is good is a huge understatement, because there is nowhere else in the world you can get as up close and personal with bull sharks. Now, quick disclaimer, if you're not a fan of feeding wild animals, then this is not a dive for you. Love it or hate it, their methods are very effective, and you're going to see way more sharks than you can count. I mean, there's not much more than I can say that these images don't say for me. We've made a complete video that highlights our day going to Beqa Lagoon, who you should probably dive with when going there, and what you can expect when getting in the water with these amazing, amazing animals. At the end of the day, Fiji is a bucket list destination that most avid travelers should go check out at least once in their life. It's becoming easier and easier to get there, with Fiji Airways having more new connections every year, and it's the perfect excuse for a layover if you're traveling in between North America and Oceania. If you enjoyed this video, guys, you know what to do. Hit that like button in the bottom. It helps our small but mighty channel continue to grow. And always remember, adventures don't happen at home.